Welcome back to the show. Today, we are going to tackle a subject that keeps many of us awake at night: our careers. Specifically, the speed at which they are moving, or, for many people, the speed at which they are stalling. We are diving deep into the principles of Brian Tracy's seminal work, Get Paid More and Promoted Faster. Now, this isn't just a book about working harder. It's a manifesto on psychological restructuring. It's about changing the fundamental lens through which you view your 9-to-5 existence. Let's start with the hook I dropped at the beginning. Who do you work for? If I asked you that right now, you'd probably name the company that signs your paycheck. You might name your manager. And that, right there, is the first and most fatal error in career development. Brian Tracy argues that the top 3% of people in every field treat themselves as self-employed. No matter who signs the check, you are the president of You Incorporated. You are a company of one. You are selling your services to a client, your employer, in a competitive marketplace. When you adopt this mindset, you stop being a passive victim of corporate restructuring or a bad boss. You become an active player. You realize that you are responsible for your own production, your own quality control, your own marketing, and your own strategy. This is the foundation of high achievement. The moment you accept 100% responsibility for everything you are and everything you will become, you step onto the accelerator of your life. But being the CEO of your own life requires a vision. You need to identify exactly what you want. Tracy talks about the idealization process. Imagine 5 years from now, your work life is perfect. What does it look like? How much are you earning? Who are you working with? Most people walk around in a fog, vaguely hoping things get better. But hope is not a strategy. You need to crystallize your goals. Write them down. There is something almost magical that happens between the hand and the brain when you write down a goal. It programs your reticular activating system to see opportunities you previously ignored. So, step 1 is the mental shift. You are the boss of you, and you need a clear business plan for your life. Now, let's move into the strategic selection of where you apply your talents. If you are the CEO of a personal services company, you need to choose your clients carefully. This brings us to the concept of choosing the right industry and the right boss. Tracy makes a compelling point about the economy. There are sunrise industries, those that are growing, expanding, and hungry for talent, and there are sunset industries, those that are shrinking and consolidating. You can be the hardest worker in the room, but if you are working in a shrinking industry, your career will be an uphill battle. You need to position yourself where the tide is rising. Your skills are your capital. Invest them in a market that offers the highest return. Equally important is choosing your boss. Your immediate supervisor has more impact on your income and promotion speed than any other single factor. Tracy advises us to interview the boss just as much as they interview us. You are looking for a mentor, someone who is competent, honest, and willing to advocate for you. If you are working for someone who is insecure, incompetent, or unethical, you are essentially tying your little boat to a sinking ship. It doesn't matter how hard you row, you're going down with them. If you find yourself in that situation, the most CEO-like decision you can make is to fire that client, meaning find a new job and move your services to a better market. Don't fall into the trap of sunk cost fallacy, thinking you have to stay because you've already been there 2 years. Zero-based thinking is a powerful tool here. Ask yourself, knowing what I know now, would I start this job today? If the answer is no, your next question is, how do I get out, and how fast? Let's pivot to performance. You've got the mindset, and you've picked the right environment. Now, how do you actually get paid more? This is where we have to talk about the law of cause and effect. Salary is not a gift. It is not based on your needs. Your employer doesn't care if your rent went up or if you need a new car. Salary is a fee paid for value delivered. If you want more money, you must increase the value of your output. It is a cold, hard economic equation. Tracy introduces a concept that might make some of you uncomfortable in our modern era of quiet quitting and work-life balance. He talks about the 40-plus formula. He suggests that 40 hours a week is for survival. Everything over 40 hours is for success. Now, we can debate the hours, but the principle is about intensity and focus. The average employee wastes an incredible amount of time chatting with colleagues, long lunches, checking social media. Tracy observes that the most successful people work all the time they work. When they arrive at the office, they start. They don't ease into the day. They treat time as a precious resource. They recognize that if they can get 2 hours of productive work done while everyone else is still drinking coffee and reading the news, they gain a massive competitive advantage. This leads to the concept of high-value activities. Not all work is created equal. The Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, applies ruthlessly to your career. 20% of what you do accounts for 80% of the value you create. Your job is to identify those top 3 tasks that actually move the needle for your company, and do them with ferocious intensity. Ask yourself constantly, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? If you are working on low-value administrative tasks when you could be generating revenue or solving critical problems, you are destroying your own value proposition. You need to become a specialist in the things that matter most to your company's bottom line. Let's discuss the ask. Eventually, you will want that raise. You will want that promotion. How do you get it? You don't demand it. You don't beg for it. You present a business case. Remember, you are a company selling a service. When you go to your boss, you are essentially renegotiating a contract. You need to prepare. Keep a record of your achievements. Quantify your value. I saved the department $10,000, or I brought in 3 new accounts. When you sit down with your boss, you present this data. You say, I would like to discuss how I can add even more value to the company, and how I can be compensated for that value. If they say no, you don't get angry. You ask, what exactly do I need to do, and what benchmarks do I need to hit, to qualify for the salary I want? Make them give you a roadmap. Then, go execute that roadmap. If you hit those targets and they still won't pay you, then you know the market will. You take that track record of success to a competitor who will appreciate it. Now, we need to address the soft side of the equation, which is actually very hard: image and visibility. You can be doing great work in the dark, and it won't help you. You need to be seen. Tracy talks about the importance of dressing for the job you want, not the job you have. People judge by appearances. It's a biological fact. If you look like a leader, people will subconsciously attribute leadership qualities to you. But beyond clothes, it's about attitude. A positive, cheerful, can-do attitude is a force multiplier. In a sea of complainers, and every office has them, the person who smiles and says, I'll handle it, stands out like a beacon. Develop a reputation for speed. When someone gives you a task, do it quickly and do it well. Be the person who is known for reliability. Speed is a differentiator because so few people have it. Most people procrastinate. If you are the one who executes immediately, you become indispensable. This brings us to the currency of trust, integrity. Tracy places this at the very top of the hierarchy of values. In business, trust is everything. If people trust you, they will do business with you, they will promote you, and they will follow you. If you compromise your integrity, even once, you can destroy a reputation that took years to build. This means telling the truth, keeping your promises, and being loyal. Loyalty is a rare commodity. Never badmouth your boss or your company to others. If you are unhappy, leave. But while you are there, give them your full loyalty. This kind of character creates a gravitational pull. People want to help those they respect. We also need to talk about your customers. In the corporate world, your customer isn't just the person buying the product. Your boss is your primary customer. Your colleagues are your internal customers. Your job is to please them, It sounds subservient, but it's actually strategic. If you make your boss look good, your boss will drag you up the ladder with them. If you help your colleagues, they will support you when you need it. It's the law of reciprocity. You get what you give. Service is not about being a servant, it's about understanding that your value is determined by how well you serve the needs of others. Finally, let's look at future-proofing. We live in the information age. Knowledge is the primary source of value. But knowledge becomes obsolete faster than ever before. To get ahead, you must be a learning machine. Tracy suggests reading 1 hour every day in your field. 1 hour a day translates to 1 book a week, which is 50 books a year. If you do that, you will join the top 1% of experts in your field within a few years. Listen to audio programs, or podcasts like this one, while you commute. Turn your car into a university on wheels. Attend seminars. Take courses. You are your own most valuable asset. If you aren't investing in your own maintenance and upgrades, you are depreciating. The market pays for excellence, and excellence requires continuous study. So, as we wrap up, I want you to look at your career path today. Are you drifting or are you driving? Are you waiting for someone to discover you, or are you building a case for your own promotion every single day? The strategies we've discussed, taking responsibility, choosing the right environment, focusing on high-value tasks, maintaining a positive image, and relentless learning, these are not secrets. They are disciplines. They are hard. That is why so few people do them, and that is exactly why they work. If you do what the other 95% of people do, you will get what the other 95% get, mediocrity. If you want the top rewards, you have to pay the price in advance. Take a piece of paper today. Write down your goal. Ask yourself, what is the one skill that, if I developed and did it in an excellent fashion, would have the greatest positive impact on my career? Identify that skill. Make a plan. And start today. Because in the race for success, there is no speed limit, and the track is wide open for those willing to run. Thanks for listening.